Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. This is episode number 819 of the Immigration Answer Show. This is Friday, April 25th, 2025. How's everybody doing? Thanks for joining the show. I'll be here for the next hour, an early show so that I can catch a flight with the Nornator. Everybody remember, next Monday is Nurse Laura's birthday. We will be having a show in her honor at noon on Monday. Noon show, so that'll be 10 a.m. West Coast time for Nurse Laura. We wish her a happy birthday. I hope she has a great weekend. How's everybody doing? Let's see who's here. Saring says hello. Kwaku's checking in from Kentucky. Shauna is here, wishing well wishes to everybody. Thank you, Shauna. Same to you. Sister Debbie says, glorious and happy Friday, Jim and everyone. How about that? Vasu is here. There's Nurse Laura. And there's Traylene. Hello, Traylene. Greetings from Ohio. Craig says, happy Friday to everyone in the chat. Jessica is here. Got some French going on there. Big welcome. You're welcome for sure. Hey, everybody. Remember, Monday is Nurse Laura's birthday. Tess is wishing her happy birthday in advance. We got a Yardie in the house. Represent Jamaica. Jim, my husband, finally got his green card in the mail this month of April. We've been waiting since November of 2023. Wow, that's a long time. Minnie says hello. Let's see. Oh, is Barshall trolling people again? Oh, I don't know. I thought he was being sincere. Maybe it's a troll. Good morning, Jim and everyone from Sonia. We got TGI Friday. We got New York, Staten Island. I've always wanted to go to Staten Island. Is that big? Are there a lot of people on Staten Island? Does it feel like a city or does it feel like an island? I've always wanted to go there. They always make fun of it and stuff. But when that plane went down in the Hudson River, I think the Staten Island ferry went over there and helped pull those people off the water or off the wings. And then, of course, my favorite Billy Joel song, New York State of Mind, has the Staten Island ferry named in it. And, you know, Billy Joel was like my childhood favorite musician, Billy Joel and Elton John. And one day when Imani was pregnant with Yusuf, we were walking in New York City on a Sunday night. I probably told you guys this before, but all of a sudden, everyone said, stop, stop, stop. And I said, why? We were right by Times Square. They said, something's going to happen. So about, there was like a 10-foot tall, round, wooden structure in the middle of Times Square. And all of a sudden, Billy Joel on a piano floats up out of the structure on top. And he played New York State of Mind to open the Tonys. That was the year that Twyla Tharp had turned his music into a ballet called Moving Out. So anyway, that's my little Billy Joel story. I've probably seen Billy Joel in concert 10 times, maybe more. All right, we got One Love in the house. Hello, hello. Maho's here. Hello, Maho. Our friend Kara, who's on the show a lot today, is her birthday. Her mom's here, so I don't think she's here, but all good. I got Eric Schmidt in the house. That's not Eric Schmidt from Google, is it? Everyone's wishing Laura happy birthday. Got SK Research Council in New York. Donna is here. Big ups. Roy is here. Wilson is here. ACM. Hello. We got Gainesville, Florida. That's your Florida Gators hometown. AJ's favorite Billy Joel song is Uptown Girl. I guess we could call Laura, I guess she's now our downtown girl because she moved down to California from Washington. All right, let's go ahead and get started and talk to Sara. Hi, Sara.
Hi, Jim. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure.
I have a quick question for you. Hopefully it's quick. I'm a naturalized U.S. citizen, and my husband is undocumented. We have been married for about a year, but together for about 6. And he has been in the U.S. since the 1980s when he was a child. He has had some implications having to do with his case, but I won't get into all that. In any case, we have not yet filed a petition for him as his sponsor. We were told in the past when we wanted to file under Biden's Parole in Place program that we would not qualify for that program, or he would not qualify for that program because he entered a guilty plea 20 years ago for possession of more than 20 grams of marijuana.
Yeah.
And he has 2 other guilty charges for possession for smaller amounts from around that same time. So my question is, will that guilty charge automatically disqualify him from a regular, I-130 petition for an adjustment of status and for the parole in place waiver? And the second question is, should we file now or should we wait for our 2nd anniversary to file to kind of make everything a little easier?
I don't think, okay, so everything hinges on the criminal charge. If he has a relatively serious drug charge, that's going to keep him from ever being admissible to the United States. So this would be a terrible time to raise your hand and say that he's here, because if you try to start the process by filing the I-130, they'd schedule it for an interview, and then based on news stories we've been hearing lately, they've actually been arresting people and putting them into deportation at I-130 interviews, at least here in Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody needs, if they haven't already, to drill down on that criminal conviction, see if it renders him inadmissible. And if it does, then I hate to say it, but somebody's going to have to either go back and try to undo that conviction, and it's going to have to be based on state law, not to clear up his immigration history. They're going to have to find some hook in his sentencing. Maybe he wasn't advised of the immigration consequences. Maybe there's some fundamental defect in the statute. But if you don't get rid of that conviction, he's not getting a green card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we do have some information on that. So it's not some huge charge. It was literally like 21 grams or 22 grams. It's a very small amount, and it was for personal use. It was not for trafficking or anything like that. He also didn't serve jail time for it. It was basically just like whatever it was that they told him to do, pay a fine or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. So we were told.
But that's fine. But do you have a lawyer telling you in writing that it is safe for him to apply for a green card?
No, we have not gotten that yet.
Because they're not going to, because it's probably not safe.
Okay.
Even without Trump, if he has, I mean, there's let's find the minor personal use marijuana immigration. Just because I don't want to misquote it.
Mm-hmm.
This makes for great television while I look it up. Okay. What state?
Florida.
And do you know what the range of punishment was?
No, I do not. All I know is he didn't have a punishment. Like I said, he didn't serve jail time.
Right.
It might have been.
Remember, they're looking for ways to deport him. They're looking for ways for it to be a problem.
Right. Okay.
So what's the overall?
We were told in the past by an attorney that we could seek to have it not expunged, but there's another word for it. Basically, what you said earlier, at the time he was not warned that his guilty plea could impact his immigration status. So based on that, we could have the charge, I don't know what the right word for is, the legal term.
Probably vacated is what you need.
Okay. And that's done through the local municipality, right?
If you're going to explore that option, what you should do is find the best criminal defense attorney who works in the city in which the conviction was. Go see them and say, hey, this case has a Padilla violation, P-A-D-I-L-L-A. We have a Padilla violation. My husband wasn't told about the immigration consequences of his plea when he pled, and it's going to keep him from being able to ever get a green card. Now, the attorney should request the transcript from the plea to make sure that your husband wasn't told, because a lot of times people say, oh yeah, no one ever told me. But I've had cases where the public defender said, not only is it going to affect your immigration status, it's probably going to get you deported. And it's all on the record, even though the client said to me when I first got started, oh no, they never told me. So you got to make sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you for that information. And also, is from what I understand, from what we were previously advised, the amount that he pled guilty to, the 20 grams, was like the magic number. Is that number equal across, sort of, like, that hasn't changed? It doesn't matter which which program he's filing through. That seems to be the number, correct?
It's 30 grams.
30. Okay. So I should check on that, because I do think it was 20, but not 30, somewhere in between.
Yeah. So if I'm you and I don't want to spend a bunch of money on this right away, I would
Mhm.
go get, the spouse, not him, would go order the transcript of his guilty plea.
Yep.
Find the case number, go to the court, request the transcript, pay the fee, then see if there's anything in there about them advising him of the consequences, and then go. And then if yes, then go hire the criminal defense attorney.
Okay, so even if the amount is below the amount that would automatically disqualify him, we still should try to have this vacated one way or another before we begin any kind of
Not
process.
not necessarily, but if it's below the statutory limit, you still have to look at the statute to see what the range of punishment is. So I don't know that low amount just solves it. It depends what the range of punishment was for the crime he pled guilty to.
Okay, makes sense. Great. Thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate your advice.
Have a great day. All right. Let's go over to Armand. Hello.
Hello, Jim.
Hello.
Thank you for having me on the show,
Sure.
and thank you so much. So I'm gonna get to the point real fast, real quick here. I'm a lawful permanent resident, and I have obtained my green card like 3 years ago. Actually, you helped us, me and my family, with a writ of mandamus for the consulate delay in issuing our green card. But the reason that I'm reaching out to you today is that my spouse, Bita, also an Iranian national who has been living as a student in Canada, she got a PhD admission from UNC Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and she applied for F1 student visa. That visa has been pending at the US consulate in Toronto for over 13 months now.
Wow.
So my first question is it a good time to file a writ of mandamus to compel the consulate to do their job?
Yes, happy to do it, but you have to understand that I think there's a 49, 50, 51, a 49% chance that they file a motion to dismiss and tell her to keep waiting.
Even
So
after 12 or 13 months of waiting?
I would say that even after 36 months. Yeah. If they want to cause her trouble, they'll just fight it.
Right, right. Okay. So my second question is that, okay, this is interesting because later, so she did her interview last March, and later in September of 2024, she applied for a B1, B2 visa, a visitor visa, basically, to do a conference here in the US. And so she was placed in AP on the interview day as well for that B1, B2 visa, but that visa was issued 2 months later. So she is now in the US on that B1, B2 status. And I mean, I don't know how that happened, but anyhow. So we tried another venue and we wanted to change the status from B1, B2 to F1. But that application has been pending with USCIS as well. We filed in February, we filed premium processing. That premium processing guarantees a response within 30 business days. That 30 business day passed just like 10 days ago. So we reached out to the service center, to the USCIS service center that was handling her case. And they informed us that they cannot make a decision on her case at the moment because the case is pending some security checks.
Of course it is.
So, yeah, so we do not know how much longer we should wait. Can we, by any chance, sue USCIS for the delay, or the delay is not that long? Again, we applied in February 2025 for that change of status.
Just one question. When did she
Yeah.
enter on the B1, B2?
In December 2024, so last December, just before the
More
Christmas.
more than 60 days or after 60 days? Less.
It was more than 60 days that we applied for the change of status.
So do you know what I think you should do?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd sue them for both in one lawsuit.
Oh, okay.
Say, hey fools, we don't care what you do, but we're suing you on both. Either change her status to F1 or issue her a visa for F1.
Right. So if they issue the visa for F1, and we know that those change of status is pending, and her I-94 is expired because it was set to expire on January 15 for some reason, they gave her a very limited time. So the thing that happened is that she got inspected at the border, and so since she had a return ticket, I get basically the custom and board officer asked her, "How long do you plan to stay?" She said, "X amount of time." And so the I-94, the original I-94 was set to expire on January 15. So first we applied for extension, and then we applied for a change of status. Both applications are pending, and this is the whole story. So if she leaves, and let's say, okay, we sue the consulate and she obtains her F1 visa. If she leaves on a pending I-539, is there any risk to return back to the US?
First of all, let me say a couple things.
Yeah.
Number one, I'm sorry that they're doing this to you and your wife. It's terrible. I mean, I can feel the frustration and the absurdity of it. Number two, you have a sophisticated. I mean, you're talking about things that are so complicated and so. I mean, you stated it so well. You should be really proud of yourself. I'm sorry that you have to learn all this shit, but you are asking all the right questions, and I'm really proud of you guys. All that being said, I think you've combined too many things into one question for me, if that makes sense, right? So I would say, if the fact of leaving with a pending 539 change of status, if they said they're going to issue the visa, is not in and of itself a problem, right? So there's not a rule that says if you have a visa waiting for you at the embassy and you also have a pending change of status here, that there's no rule that says that means you can't get the visa once you leave. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, going to get the visa might not mean she gets back into the United States. Does that make sense? Because you know how they are. So what I'm saying is,
Right.
You're asking me, is the problem that she has the B1 change of status and leaves, is that's what's going to cause her the problem and come back? I'm just saying there's a general risk in leaving that might keep her from coming back. Does that make sense?
Right, I get that. I mean, that's the very reason that I'm asking that question.
Yeah.
So, what's the best course of action here? Let's say we sue them.
I'd sue them both.
Both, okay.
When's she supposed to leave?
I mean, so we are just waiting for a decision from USCIS to tell us. I mean, we do not have any period.
When she entered, what was the date she was supposed to leave? I'm sorry.
Oh, that was in January 15.
Oh, so you've been writing the change of status. Well, wait, you filed the change of status after the date she was supposed to leave?
Yes, because we filed for an extension first. So she is in a good stay here, authorized stay, I guess that's what it's called.
Yeah.
So during that authorized stay, then we filed the change of status.
So, but the extension itself hasn't been ruled on.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how much you watch the show, but I generally don't like people trying to change their non-immigrant status from within the United States, right?
I mean, that was the other venue. We have been waiting for that F1 visa for a long time.
Yeah, I was just saying my general rule is I don't like that.
Right.
My exception to that rule is I understand why you're trying it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would say that there's no 100% best right way to doing what you're doing. I would say sue them on everything, including the extension of status, throw it all in there and see what happens. That's what I think. It's no one can predict anything, and we can't control what they do. We can only control what we do, and that is to try to push the issue so that she gets some kind of a clarity.
Right.
And,
exactly.
And I would like it with her in the United States, not outside the United States.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are thinking the same way. Thanks for that advice. And so if we decide to move forward, what's the best way to reach your office?
Just email us, say, this is Arman again. You helped me with a prior lawsuit, but I talked to Jim on the show for a good long while on Friday, and I was the second caller, and we want to get going on the lawsuit.
Okay.
And just tell them to forward it over to me, and I'll look at it over the weekend.
All right. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, brother.
You're awesome. Thank you.
All right. See ya. I may be awesome, but I sure hate those guys. Speaking of those guys, there are rumors going around that ICE has folded and is reinstating all the international students across the land. I don't know if this is true or not. We have, I think we have 6 lawsuits on file right now. I've asked all of those clients to check to make sure. We also have some people set up for the class action. We've asked them to check with their designated school official, their DSO at school. And so we might not be doing the class action, and I hope it's true too, Laura. It would be great for all these students to be back in status. Now, I hope that the truth comes out as to what they did, but we shall see. So we're going to keep proceeding with the one case that we have, and we're going to wait and see what happens on the other. I mean, we're still proceeding on everything, but we're not going to do the class action just now because we want to make sure. We obviously don't waste anybody's money, and we don't want to give ourselves a bunch of work that we don't have to do anyway. So it would be a great result, but I'll just say this. In a time when law firms, big law firms, are folding and promising to do millions and millions of dollars of free legal work for the Trump administration. You guys know this, right? There are these huge firms that Trump threatened with an executive order, and they cut a deal with him to provide, I mean, with all these firms added up, it's $1 billion, $1 billion of free legal work for fucking Trump. And they are kissing his butt and doing everything they can to stay in his good graces. Lawyers are leaving those firms in droves because they're ashamed to be a lawyer associated with that firm, as well they should be. When I heard about that and when I've seen this happen, it's never made me more ashamed to be a lawyer. And it also vindicates everything I've always known, that it's small firm lawyers that really work for people. These big corporate law firms with these big corporate clients, it sure as hell is not why I got my law degree. And as sad and depressed as I was of these big law firms not using their law degrees to protect themselves, I, at the same time, have never been prouder of the immigration bar, the immigration lawyers like my friends and I, who filed probably, I looked it up, I think there's 150 lawsuits against ICE since April 1st, which is when they started terminating SEVIS. Now, some of those might not be SEVIS related, but little law firms like ours and others filed suit in federal court against the federal government, all the resources of the federal government, the same resources that would have been pointed at these big firms that caved, and solo and small firms got the government, it appears, to reverse a patently illegal decision. And I've never been prouder of my firm, our lawyers, the team, the intake team, the marketing team. We swung into action. We basically built out a system to launch a class action on about 24 hours notice. So if we don't get to do the class action, I'm obviously very, very happy for the immigrants, but I also take comfort in the fact that it was the actions of us and other lawyers and judges of good conscience that pushed ICE to reverse this decision and to give these people some due process. So I've never been prouder to be a lawyer. I've never been prouder of our team and of our firm and of our clients for standing up. You know, it's scary when you're an F1 student who's had their status terminated. So what I know is this is making us better lawyers and stronger lawyers. And while others cower in fear, even though they have unlimited resources behind them, it's the Rekha Sharma Crawfords, the Chuck Cooks, the Jesse Bless, the Brad Baniuses, people like that, Brian Green, who are filing these lawsuits, who are standing up to tyranny and fascism in the courts. And the courts aren't having it. The courts are not having it. The American people want due process for everyone, including immigrants. And I'm just so proud of what we were able to accomplish, and we'll keep fighting. And I'm ready. I got another one that I'm already thinking about to try to work on a class action, another illegal action by USCIS. So, as my friend Charles Dickens says, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. And that's true now. It's true always. But, you know, bad actors in the government trying to make bad law makes good lawyers better, makes us sharper, makes us stronger. And I'm so excited to be doing this work again. I've had more fun in the last 2 weeks working on this very important project for all of these international students who had their dreams crushed because Elon or some fool at DHS flipped a switch and said, find us the immigrants who have brown skin, who've had any interaction with law enforcement. We're going to terminate their CVIS record, not because it's the law, not because it's right, but because we can, and we're bullies, right? So we stood up to that, and we stopped them, it seems. We'll keep you posted, but I'm super excited. All right, let's go to Vali. Hi, Vali. She wasn't ready for me to end my big rant. Hello, you're on mute. All right, we'll come back. Let's go over to TikTok, see what's going on. I'm sure Hina's got some posts for me. Hina likes it when we start early. Dan Man, is there an interview to remove conditions on a green card? I suspect that from now on there will be for sure. I think there always has been. They've been waiving them a lot, but I think 751 interviews are back. I did my biometrics 3 days ago. Now my I-45 is saying step 404 case decision, which bypassed the interview. Is that good or bad? Rich, I think that means your green card's on the way. So I'd say that's good. Chumma456 Love. I have a court date, but I'm moving before the date. Do I notify them and let them move the date or go back for the court date asylum, moving from New York to Kansas? Oh, I don't know why you would do that. Kansas is not a good place to be for asylum. If you're in Kansas, your immigration judges are going to be in Kansas City, and they have a very, very high denial rate on asylum cases. I would talk to an immigration lawyer in New York, a deportation lawyer. I have a good one if you want to talk to her. Her name is Tsuyi, Tsuiyee. I'd reach out to her and talk that through before you make that decision to move to Kansas. Oh, well, here's a great TikTok name, Hopeful Opal. I love it. I came to the States with my daughter on a B1 visa. Is my daughter a principal or a derivative? If you're saying that you got married and you're applying for immigration benefits, both you and your daughter would need an I-130 if you're married to a U.S. citizen. If your spouse is a green card holder, then they would be a derivative on your I-130. So it depends. And of course, if your spouse is a green card holder, you have other problems because you can't file for adjustment until your priority date on the I-130 is current. Peruvian chick. Family member has asylum hearing soon. If it doesn't go well, can we appeal? So asylum hearing, I'm assuming that's at the asylum office. So if you get denied asylum at the asylum office, you get what's called referred to the immigration court. You don't get to appeal at that point. You just go to immigration court. At that point, there's a judge whose job is to deport as many people as possible. And there's a prosecutor who's trying to poke holes in your story. So you get a second chance at the apple, but if you don't win at the asylum office, it's very, very hard. Now, if you lose at the asylum court, then you get one appeal to the Board of Immigration Appeals, and that would be your appeal. But most asylum denials at the immigration court are upheld at the BIA, probably 95%. Martinez. 9 years in the USA, no legal issues. How can I get a green card? Asylum case pending. Well, you got to get that asylum case resolved. That's how you're going to get your green card. RM, I'm an Afghan asylee. I submitted my green card application on March 2024. Should I inquire about my case? Those are on hold, RM. That's the kind of lawsuit that I'm talking about, that I'm thinking about. You should email me, RM, and say, this is RM. I'm an Afghan asylee, and I submitted my green card application in March. That's the lawsuit that we're thinking about doing. So give us an email, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. Tell them that we talked on the show. Stephanie Lopez, do you think I should file for my I-601A now, or should I wait? From Indiana. You have to wait till the I-130 is approved and to start the NVC process before you can file a 601A. Chuma has the update on why they're moving to Kansas. Update, I'm moving to live with my wife on the military base. I don't care. I think that's great. I'm glad you're doing that. But from an immigration standpoint, if you got a good immigration judge, you should not move your case to Kansas City, but you have to if you move. So, all right, we'll come back to TikTok. Let's go to BB. Hello.
Hi, Jim. I'm back again. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I just had a couple of questions. I mean, I'm on vacation with my son, and I'm going to go back to the episode 816, where I talked about Sam, who's 34, and Tammy, who's 74.
You're talking about the helper? This is the helper case?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I talked to Tammy yesterday. I didn't tell her anything that I had been talking with you, but
you should play her. You should play her the recording.
I'm going to. So, if they go to the interview, would he be detained there?
Probably not.
Okay. So then after that,
well,
then you said,
hold on. Does he have any other status? He's probably out of status other than that, right?
No, that's all.
So according to the February 28th memo,
the
February 28th memo says that if you show up for an interview and it gets denied and you have no other status, that they're supposed to send you to removal. Not necessarily arrest him right there on the spot, but put him into deportation.
Well, okay. So if he goes to, does that mean a court then?
Yeah, deportation court.
Okay. Would that be a detention center, or they just give him time to get his stuff?
Either.
Okay, because this is in North Carolina, so I'm not
Either.
sure. Yeah. Oh, should they just I can tell her to withdraw her petition. Would that make any difference?
He needs to leave and they need to withdraw the case. Yep. Mm-hmm.
He needs to leave and then withdraw. Okay.
Well, no, they can do it at the same time, but both those things need to happen. In my humble opinion.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. That's all I had to ask.
Bye, baby.
Bye. Thanks.
Gary?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there's a lot of feedback, but I can hear you.
All right, man, this keeps happening. I don't know why. I called you a few days ago. And I was talking to you about me. Are you there?
I'm right here, brother.
Okay. All right. Yeah, my wife left on a K-1 visa, and she left before she got parole. That's not what I'm calling about today. Again,
I remember.
Okay, I thought you would because it's an odd case. What I wanted to ask you was, I washed my passport, and like maybe 30 or 40% of my stamps are light. You can still see the signature where the agent signed. And I want to get a new one, but if I get a new one, then obviously it's going to have no stamps in it. I don't know, because they have to see the stamp. They want us to take pictures of it. I'm in the middle of my I-130 now, and 13 months in. So I don't know.
Why are you concerned about your stamps in your passport?
Oh, because they ask you to send pictures to prove that you've been down there.
Yeah. Well, you have other ways other than stamps in your passport to prove that you went, don't you?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I got everything. I just didn't know how important that was. That's what I was asking.
Yeah, no, not a big deal. As long as you can prove up the dates and everything. It's nice. It's a nice to have. I don't know that we. I guess we do. I guess we submit passport stamps of the U.S. citizen showing that they went. I guess we do that.
Yeah, for proof. Yeah, they did on my K1 visa, and they asked for more.
Yeah.
In the I-130, so I used. Yeah, so that basically, yeah, they do.
Okay. No, I'm saying I don't know if we as a firm do. I don't know that it's all that compelling because I don't think anyone, if you say this is when I went, unless you're just a flat out liar, nobody's really going to push back on that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. Yeah, that was it. I was kind of worried about that because I wanted to get a new one, but I didn't know if they want to be like, okay, you said you. Yeah, okay. All right. I think maybe I'm thinking too hard into it. One more question. How long are the I-130s taking in your office right about now?
1460 for an overseas case.
Yes.
14, 16 months.
Okay, like I'm at 13 right now. So all right, that's I'm in. All right.
Thanks, Gary.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Bye, buddy. All right. We'll go to Alessa. Hello, Alessa.
Hi, Jim. Thank you for taking the time to having me today.
Sure. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thank you. Well, let me give you some context before I ask my question. I'm a U.S. citizen. My husband's from Mexico. He entered the U.S. in 2010 without inspection, so he's been here ever since. We've been together since 2013, but we didn't, start paperwork until we got married in 2019. We have the I-130 approved, the 601A waiver. We're just waiting for our interview date in Ciudad Juarez. He's from Mexico.
Yeah.
But my question is, he has a criminal record back when he was a juvenile, 17, and it didn't worry me back then, but now it does bother me a lot. He was 17 at the time. That was like a year later after he entered the U.S. Let me tell you what it was. He was drunk at the time, so I guess a neighbor, I don't know, somebody up on the street, they complained and they called the police. And he got arrested. The charges were disorderly conduct, resist arrest, and let me see, assault and battery on a police officer, of course. And then the other one is also another assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, but the weapon was a belt, according to the arrest record.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't serve any jail time or anything. He got pre-trial probation, which he served like 4 community service after. And then according to the final court disposition, the case was dismissed after he completed the pre-trial probation. I requested a background check from the state of Massachusetts where we live, and it came out blank, meaning the record's not there. But that worries me. Like, how do you think it will play it out when he goes out to his interview?
I would say that, you need to drill down on all those crimes and he needs to bring a brief with him as to whether or not that, well, first of all, you need to figure out if those crimes make him inadmissible, right? So if they make him inadmissible, then when he goes down there, he's going to need a 601 waiver, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of their favorite tricks. Oh yeah, come on down to Juarez with your 601A. Oh, but before we give you the visa, we just want to do one last thing, and that's we're gonna, we didn't know about this before, but now we're gonna run this criminal check. Oh no, oh we're so sorry. Even though we approved your 601A, which is for the entry and overstay, you're gonna need another waiver for the crime, right? And the criminal stuff. So then he's stuck outside the United States for literally 4 years while they adjudicate that 601 waiver.
We sent all documents to the NBC when we had to. I was reading the INA, which mentions something about juvenile delinquency, but there's only so much that I can comprehend. I scheduled a consultation with a criminal lawyer here in Massachusetts, but she kind of, what I could get from her, whatever she said, was that, let me see, what did she say? Well, she said that I should, this was like 14 years ago already. He's been clean ever since, nothing else. But then she just mentions that she will focus on that he's been clean ever since, and then he hasn't had anything else besides that. And she did mention something about the INA says that, in a crimes committed while he was under 18 might not count, but that's just my thing. Like, I'm worried about that.
Okay. None of that means anything, what that lawyer said. The fact that, that he's fine. I mean, crimes are crimes. And if they make you inadmissible, they make you inadmissible. 80 years could, I mean, not 80, but 20 years could pass and it doesn't matter. So what you need is not necessarily my firm. You probably want an attorney in Massachusetts who does criminal and immigration, and tell them, I need an analysis as to whether these crimes that my husband has, whether they're juvenile or not. I need written analysis. I'll pay you for this. I mean, it's probably going to cost you like $4,000 or $5,000 because the lawyer's putting their license on the line. They're putting their name on the line saying, yeah, dude, it's safe for you to go to Juarez. Most lawyers, including yours truly, don't want to do that because there's no guarantee what's going to happen. And, so if the lawyer feels that he's admissible, then I would say take that lawyer's research, turn it into a brief. When he goes to Juarez, at least he has that with him to explain why the 601A is all that he needs.
Yeah, I figured it was going to go either way. But that was my only question. Thank you, Jim. I'll follow your advice.
Okay. Thanks, Alessa. Have a great day.
Thank you.
I like it when people say, thank you, Jim. I'll follow your advice. Not like that lady yesterday. She was fighting me. I was driving on the way home and I was thinking about her. Now, you'll recall, I'm going to make a TikTok about this. So she called yesterday asking for my advice, and she had two issues that she fought me on. The first was that her driver's license has her mom and dad's address, not her address where she lives with her husband. So I said, well, when you go to the interview, the first thing they're going to do is ask you for your IDs, and you're going to give them your IDs and your driver's license. And the first thing the officer is going to say is, hey, why does your driver's license have this old address? Do you really live with your spouse here in the state that we're in now? State B, she called it. So right out of the box, she's getting in trouble with that. Then she said her passport was at her mom and dad's house and she didn't want to bring it. She wanted to just bring her birth certificates because that's what she had. Now, I got sort of worked up a little bit about both those things. But when I was driving home, I thought to myself, in America, what are the two biggest pieces of evidence that you have that you carry on your person that says who you are? One is your driver's license. The other is your passport. So she basically wanted to coast on in there without either of the two main documents that people use to prove who they are. And in a marriage case, prove that they live together at the address on their USCIS file. So hopefully she listens to me like Alessa just said she would and does what I say, because fighting me is fine. You do what you want. I'm just telling you what I would do and how I would take away problems. Source, hello.
Hello.
Hi, go ahead.
Yes, hi. My question, Jim, is that I'm a naturalized U.S. citizen for 20 years. I'm a physician, been in the United States for 30 years, and have never had problems with the law, probably a few traffic tickets, and that's it. My question is, I'm leaving the country. I have to leave the country in June and July to see my mother, who is older and sick, and I'm a little concerned about coming back. I have brown skin, and maybe I'm worrying too much, but I wanted to know if I should hire an attorney, immigration attorney on retainer, that if something happens when I come back, something crazy, I get arrested, whatever, they put me in handcuffs for no reason whatsoever, that at least I can call an attorney. Do you think I'm going overboard?
So I missed at the very beginning what your status currently is.
Oh, I'm a naturalized United States citizen for 20 years.
I knew that you've been here for a long time. My brother, I'm very, very sorry that we've stooped so low as a country that here you are, a physician helping people, keeping people alive, that you've been in the United States as a naturalized U.S. citizen for 20 years and you don't feel safe to go back and visit your mother. That makes me very sad. I don't think you'll have any problems coming through. But the question that you raise is a great one that people ask me a lot, so I want to tackle it. There is nothing an immigration lawyer can do when someone is held up by CBP. Now, I don't think they're going to hold you up. I'm saying this more for other people that call. There's not, they hang up on me. They don't let the client talk to me. There's nothing an immigration lawyer can do. If the person's detained, you could, in theory, file a lawsuit to get them out of jail, but you're not going to need that, brother.
I'm just trying to do whatever I can do preemptively to prevent problems. I will be arriving at Logan Airport in Massachusetts, Boston.
Yeah.
And that's where several problems have occurred.
Yeah,
and
that's
I
true.
am a person of color.
Yeah.
And I constantly worry about this. I carry my passport wherever I go, even if I'm inside my gym. Right in the gym while I'm working out, I have my passport on a little container attached to my waist. So
Don't put it in the washing machine like our man earlier today.
No, but it's just I'm trying to be proactive and do whatever I can to avoid problems.
Well, I'll tell you what. Email the office and I will give you my cell phone so that when you travel, you feel safe so you can go concentrate on your mother. I'll be happy to do whatever I can if anything happens, but I think the chances of something happening to you are like 1 in 100,000.
I'm happy to hear that. Yeah. And of course, I would pay you for your
forget that. No.
Availability.
There's nothing to do. I'm happy to do it. And you can send me your itinerary. We'll stay in touch.
I'll email you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Oh, man. What a nice guy. But that just makes me so bummed. I mean, imagine a naturalized U.S. citizen. Just think about other people. Yeah, I would think about global entry there, Source. I don't know if you have that, but global entry is the bomb diggity. You get TSA pre as part of it. It's great. We just walked right in from global entry. It was great. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but I would go for that. And Princess Jada says everyone's praying for your mom, so good luck to her. All right. Did I tell you I started reading War and Peace? Oh my God. It's so long. And so far, it's just everybody talking about sending their sons off to war. So a lot of talking. And there's a lot of people in there named Natalia, and that's why I brought it up. Natalia's here. Hello.
Hi, Jim. Hi. Thank you so much for having me in your show. And I can imagine how long is War and Peace. We have to read it at school. I know. My
Yeah,
goodness.
when I took Russian, we had to read Anna Karenina, which isn't as long, but it's long.
Yeah, Tolstoy's War and Peace is like crazy. I mean, the description of the war battlefield and everything just takes like hundreds of pages, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just enormous. Happy Easter to you also.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you know my situation that my husband Cody left in like August and in the end of August of 2024, and I got my green card, temporary green card, in the beginning of August of 2024.
Right.
And then we went to Louisiana to see his family. We got in a fight, and he decided to like go back in Louisiana. So
I remember.
Yeah. So now it's like more than 6 months. In February it was 6 months. Now it's 8 months that we are not together, living together, and he hasn't filed for the divorce yet. And it's already close to a year for my temporary green card.
Yeah.
I do remember that you said as fast as he applies for the divorce, it's better for my case that I can apply for I-751 form to the following change of status. So I don't know what to do because he doesn't communicate me pretty well with me. And should I apply for the divorce myself?
I would say yes.
Okay. Okay. Will be the following evidence enough? I printed our conversation from the first day of us being knowing each other. So like it's more like 300, 700 pages of a PDF with all like nice messages and everything. Then I have joint taxes for the last year. Then of course we have photos even from the trip for Louisiana this August. And then I will have a benefit of support not only from my friends in Louisiana but also from people who knew us from Utah, like our neighbors for the whole year, landlord, and maybe his brother also will file. Also, I have the recording of our last conversation when he was like yelling at me. I'm transcribed it, and I probably can get it notarized if that is like a good thing to show it as an evidence.
Yeah.
And I will have also papers of the counselor meetings. Like they will say that Natalia went to the counselor sessions since her husband left and crisis. So this is my concern. If it will not look bad if I file for the divorce by myself,
There's a concept. I mean, again, I took family law, but I'm not a family lawyer. There's a concept in the family law that it's called abandonment. So that's a grounds for divorce. So even though you're the one, I mean, I generally don't think they get too hung up on who filed for divorce. I generally don't think that's something that they really think about. But at the same time, I think you've got a really good set of evidence.
Okay, nice. Oh, that makes me. I'm very worried, of course, because like I still study here. So and exactly like I'm a second year DMA student, and it will be the third year. So my green card ends the same time when I probably finish the school if I don't prolong my DMA. So I'm pretty worried about like if I will not get kicked out from the country. I know.
This is a case that should be approved.
Okay, that's amazing. Then I file by myself, and then I do whenever I get my divorce, and then I do the 751.
Yep.
Okay. Oh my goodness, Jim, thank you so much.
Bye, Natalia. Have a good
You're
day.
amazing. Thank you for having me here. I will
Yeah.
follow your advice.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right. We always like talking to old Natalia. She's a sweet soul. And I don't know, maybe I'm feeling sad today. Anyway, Glenn says that War and Peace is boring, and so far it is. I agree. And I'll keep going though. I took Russian for 4 years in high school and 4 years in college, so I love Russian literature. And I also read I read Les Mis last year. That's 1,000 pages. So I like the grind. I like all of it. And I switch back from audio to text on the Kindle, so that keeps everything moving. If I do one or the other, it takes me a really long time to finish a book. All right, let's go to Bola. Hello, Bola.
Hi, good morning, Jim. Thank
How
you
are
for
you?
taking your time to
Sure.
attend to me. So my case, I think I joined some couple of months ago,
Okay.
and I mentioned something about my I-485 interview after my I-130 was approved. And I remember you made mention of a statement. You were like, "Oh, that little thing, don't worry about it." And I responded that, "Well, there's a new sheriff in town. That little thing might become it might become a very big thing." And eventually, it looks like that's what it is right now. So I made a misrepresentation statement, right? During the interview. I know, and it caught me. It showed me where I was, where the blunder
What?
was.
About what?
So it was an address, though you told me it was irrelevant. So it was asking the history of where I lived and how I met the person that assisted me, that accommodated me in Chicago. And for some reason, those words, what I was saying wasn't the same with my previous application. So, and it wasn't really related. It wasn't associated with the marriage, but at least, you swore under an oath, yada yada yada, this and that.
That's
I think
BS. That's
it
BS.
might.
You were there without a lawyer?
Yes, I was there without a lawyer.
These are addresses you had before you met your spouse?
My current spouse, because I have two marriages. So the previous one, she passed, and she's late right now. So rest in peace. And the present one, I have those addresses. The addresses were just mixed up. The I-130 is approved though, but the I-485 is still pending after the interview.
That's BS.
So
I will say that I've seen more, to your point about there being a new sheriff in town. I have seen more digging around as it relates to addresses than I've ever seen before. Not so much. I mean, what? Okay. So first of all, did you list the same addresses on both forms, just put them in a different order, or was there one just flat out missing?
So in my previous form, because I previously filed a case and that was denied with my ex-wife, and the new case where I filed in the new case, I have an address filled out in the new case that was missing in the previous case.
Okay, well, so let's go back.
Mhm.
So the prior case didn't get denied because your spouse passed away. It got denied for a different reason,
It got denied for a different reason,
which was
which was it was a VAWA case. It was very hard and tough for me then, and they asked for additional evidences, but I was out of the house then. We were separated, and I wasn't ready to go back and start pretending like there's something there. And because I couldn't provide them with new evidence, so they denied it.
so the person that you accused of violence against you is the spouse that died?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the reason your green card hasn't been approved is because of all the mess of the last case. It has nothing to do, the address is the least of it. If they think that your VAWA case or your prior marriage to the person who died was fake, that's why they're messing with your green card now.
You can correct me if I'm wrong. You've been in this like forever. I thought that has something to do with the I-130, and it shouldn't have anything to do with the
Nope.
I-485.
Nope.
Oh, it
Nope.
doesn't matter.
Nope. The
Oh.
I-130 is just, is this current marriage valid? Do we believe this marriage is real? And do they both have the capacity to be legally married? Right. And so that's all they've decided so far. The question now is, can he get a benefit having tricked us before on that old case? That's why your 45 is held up, not because of the address. It's because they think the VAWA case was fake or the marriage to your ex-spouse who died was fake.
Was fake. Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. However, I have a writ of mandamus filed with the assistance of my friend, and we filed two separate cases, one for I-130 and one for petition, one for I-130, one for I-485. The one for I-485 is still in front of the judge, and I just don't know what to do. Should I? I don't know. Because I was thinking that blunder I made could be a thing. I understand they're looking into
Not
other
the
reasons.
address. It's not the
Not the
address.
address. Okay.
It's the prior marriage, especially if you let that prior marriage case just die on the vine. You said you didn't get the mail and you weren't ready to respond. That means that they probably said some really bad things about you in the denial and you never responded. And so as far as they're concerned, that's the law of the case, and that's going to keep you from getting your green card now.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Bye,
you.
Bola. All right, everybody, that'll do it for today's show. We'll be back tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. We'll be back on Monday at noon for Nurse Laura's birthday. I hope you guys all have no show this weekend. Maybe one on Sunday, but probably not. And Amani comes back on Monday, so that'll be nice. Hope you guys all have a great day and a great time. A good weekend. I hope everybody celebrates and has fun and relaxes and is nice to each other. We will see you guys on Monday. Peace. I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of disease. I mean,